Okay. So we'll do this again. Thanks. Tonight, Danielle, who is 1-star qualifying, yay, is going to be hosting. Danielle's a physical therapist, and she works 8.5 hours a day and has about an hour and a half round trip commute, and then finds a way to always fit it into her schedule. And I actually go to Danielle for her like organizational tips because she's really, really awesome at that. So she's going to touch a little bit about that. Kind of how she gets her system in place. And then also Danielle has an interesting placement because she is under one of my first coaches that I signed on. She's under her, and the coach no longer is working the business, but she hasn't quit. So she's actually on that sponsor coach's inside leg. Basically, if you're a little confused, what that means is she's on her coach's weak leg. So I can't physically like put coaches underneath her on the strong leg because I want them to go, to the outside leg. So she's creating all of her volume entirely because her coach is not quitting, because she's making good money, because I've got her adding coaches on her strong leg, and then Danielle's growing her team on her inside leg. So, Danielle is a perfect testimony to, it doesn't matter, who your upline is. It doesn't matter if you're on a strong or a weak leg. You can make this a successful business. It's up to you. You have to build it. Even if you do have a downline helping you out, if you're not building your other leg, you're not going to get paid on it. So, just kind of like a reminder as to that. Hold on 1 second. Okay. Sorry. Okay, so just kind of a reminder that this business doesn't matter, what, you can't ever use an excuse. You can just sit down and make it happen. So she's going to talk about how she does it on a busy schedule, how she does her organization, and a little bit about her story as well. But Danielle has literally impressed me since the first month she signed on. I remember it was February of last year.
It was January, but like the middle of the month. So February was my first full month. Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember I was like, who is this chick? Like SC, like freaking 20 in her first month. I was just like, oh, okay. Got some competition now. Who is this girl? And, so she's just, been really awesome. So February was her first full month. So she's had, SC10 ever since then, just kind of made it non-negotiable. And, she's grown her husband's account so that he's reached diamond, and she's just a really, really awesome leader. And, honestly, another amazing thing about the business is that like, she's honestly like my best friend in the world. And we met through Beachbody. Like, it's just really, really cool what this business does. So I'll let you tell a little bit about your story and whatever else you had on your plan for tonight.
Okay. Well, April pretty much covered the story. I mean, I honestly, I signed up like a year. Huh?
I said, sorry.
No, it's okay. I mean, obviously she knows me pretty well. And we've only known each other for a year. I signed up about a year and a half ago. I signed up halfway through January, and at the time my upline was coaching, and she was helping me, but she was fairly new herself and not super duper active. So I had to kind of learn a lot on my own. And she helped me, but she didn't really explain to me exactly what Success Club, how much it meant and things like that. So then a week after I signed up, they started talking about this Team Cup thing, and I was like, all right, game on. I love competition. So, I mean, my February was Team Cup, and it was actually 33 Success Club points that month, which was crazy, literally crazy. And so at that point, when I was like, okay, so I can do this, and there's no excuse, I made everything non-negotiable. I was going to be Emerald, which took me until March. I was going to be getting Success Club 10 every month, which I've done. I was going to make this work, even though when I signed up, it was just kind of going to be a hobby and to get my Shakeology at a discount. And then within a couple weeks, I saw how big it could be, and I saw I could just see where it was going, and every day I see more and more where it can go. I listened to the National Wake Up Call this morning, and Meg was on, and Meg's a personal friend, and I just had tears in my eyes listening to her story, even though I know her story. And, I've seen the numbers firsthand, but the girl's making $15,000 a week, and purely by doing Beachbody. That's incredible. Mm-hmm. And, that's something that I never would have thought was possible, because even though I have a $100,000 doctorate degree, I'll never make that kind of money as a physical therapist. And it's not even about the money, it's about the freedom. Knowing that when this baby's born, I can probably go part-time, cut my hours back after maternity leave, knowing that that's an option, because I'm making enough to cover, my student loans and then some every month just with Beachbody. That's an incredible feeling. So I don't ever want to see anybody just give up because they feel like they can't do it when they have a full-time job, or because they feel like they're overwhelmed, or they don't have someone guiding them, because I'm here to tell you, you can do it and overcome all those things. So first I'm going to talk about how I make this happen with the full-time job. And a couple things I just want to tell you to start is that it's not always easy, and it's not always going to be easy. As a matter of fact, it's almost never easy, really. But you learn to adapt, and you don't have a choice. I mean, that if you can see the big picture and you can see where this can take you, then it's totally worth figuring out how to make it work and how to fit it in. You just have to remember, though, that you can't do it all, and you definitely can't do it all in a day. And that's something that April will tell you I have struggled with and beat myself up over, and I try to do it all still to this day. And honestly, I think getting pregnant was probably the best thing that ever happened to me in that aspect, because I now can't do it. I physically can't. I can't even make myself try to be Superwoman anymore, because I literally crash and burn for 3 days afterwards if I try to do that. So it's not worth it. It's not worth burning yourself out. You just have to be able to adapt. Where was that at? My favorite little saying about making this work for someone that's super busy is to be adaptable, not distractible. I just think that is so true. Be adaptable, but not distractible. So being adaptable means making it work on the run, which I'll get into. Being distractible means when you're sitting down at your desk or wherever your workspace is, that's your work time, and you have to get it done. Whether there's a husband talking on the phone in the background, which happens all the time to me, and I'm trying to type messages and I hear real estate phone calls in the other room, or your dog's barking at the bird in the yard. You just have to focus on what you're doing and make it happen. Otherwise, what could take 15 minutes is going to stretch out to an hour, and it's never going to get done, because you're going to get frustrated and you're going to walk away from it. So, and another tip, to make this work is to be consistent and have a plan. So that's where I'm going to go with this, is what my plan is. And again, I've had to be super adaptable now that I'm pregnant and my body's not allowing me to do all the things that I was doing before. So my schedule has changed a little bit, but I'm going to tell you what I was doing before I was pregnant, because the majority of you guys are not pregnant. And this is just going to, kind of running through what my normal day was like and will be like again as soon as I can, get my sleep back on schedule. So what I do first thing in the morning is I wake up 30, 40 minutes earlier than I need to, so that I can get completely ready for work, come sit down in front of my computer, and there's 3 things that I do in the morning before I go to work. I check my online office and my husband's online office. I make sure no one new has popped up inactive. If there's any new orders or new leads, I jot them down where they belong in my system, my organization system. And I make sure all is well in the business world. And then I get the heck out of there and I go check my messages. And if there's anything that's like, if I have a little bit of time, I'll answer some messages. If there's some that are crucial, like if I have somebody telling me, yes, I want to buy the challenge pack, then the first thing, what I'm going to do is copy and paste them the information on how to order. So they're not waiting for the next 12 hours until I can get back to them. And then the third thing I do before I leave for work is make my AM post, which is non-negotiable. And there's no excuse why you can't be posting to Facebook and Instagram, because 99% of your posts can go both places. So, and like, I know, like, April's a posting machine, and I wish that I was able to do that. And I'm like so jealous. I like see, I get on, I'm like, how did I miss, like I look at her page, I'm like, how did I miss all these posts? Because she's posting like 15 times a day, which is amazing. I'm super jealous of that, but I can't do that. So what I tell my coaches is that if you can post twice a day consistently, then you got a good thing going for you. If you can post 3 times a day, that's even better. For me, 2 to 3 times a day is it, because half the time I'm scrambling to do that. But as long as what you're posting has some sort of content involved in it, you know, and it's valuable, then that's all that matters. And, you know, we talk about this all the time, but you're not going to be posting all things Beachbody, all things fitness, all things healthy eating. So, you know, you can be posting about your family, about your kids. Shannon does a great job of posting pictures of her family all the time, and like sharing how she incorporates her son into her life and her lifestyle, and how she's awesome. Like, Gianni's all there all the time. Take note of what other people are doing too, and watch how they're posting, because that'll help you and make things easier for you too. So that's my morning. Then I get in my car and I turn on the PD, and I won't lie to you, like for a little while at the beginning, I didn't really do much PD, and then I was doing PD like crazy. And then I got pregnant, and I was like, I just want to stare out the windshield and not even think about life, because I want to throw up and I don't want to have to pull over and throw up. But finally, like in the last 2 or 3 weeks, I've really gotten the personal development back on track. I've listened to Go for No all the way through. I'm a third of the way through You're a Badass, which I bought as a hardback like 6 months ago and never opened, because I am the worst at reading. I lay down in bed and I fall asleep. I try to read, you know, on vacation, and I fall asleep. So I have to listen to it. So I downloaded Audible. It's absolutely worth every penny of the monthly, whatever it is, $10 to have it. You get 2 free books when you download it, so why the heck not? I listen to team calls. If I miss them, I listen to wake-up calls. You know, I listen to everything I can in the mornings. That way, in the afternoons on my drive home, I can have calls scheduled with coaches and clients if I need to. But back up a little bit to what I do at lunchtime. I check my notifications at lunchtime, especially if I've had a busy morning and haven't really had time to like peek at them in the bathroom. I check them at lunch, and then I also scroll through my messages to see if there's any more crucial ones that need to be answered, like right that second. If someone's having a problem, if my team's asking a question, if someone wants a link to order. Those are like the 3 like crucial topics in my opinion. Then I get in the car to go home, and I either listen to more personal development, or or I have calls with coaches on my team, or my coaches' coaches, or sometimes even with potential clients that have a lot of questions, or free leads that I've contacted that have said they want to talk about their goals. On the 1 or 2 days a week that one of those things isn't happening, I give myself that 45 minutes to like relax and decompress. Then I come home, and again, things have changed with the pregnancy, but my first thing that I do is once I get out of the house, get in the house, let the dog out and whatever, is change my clothes, stretch, and work out. Because I have to get it done. I have to get it out of the way. I can't do it after I eat because it makes me sick. So I come home, I work out. That's done. It's out of the way. I can make dinner if my husband's home when I'm done working out, or I can do some work until he gets home and then take a break and make dinner. So then the time I put in the evening, what I do is answer my messages that have been waiting for me since last night, send my 3 new messages, which I always have my 3 new people planned out and written on my planner so that I can like go right to it. Like I don't even have to question who I'm messaging. They're already there. And I check in my team page, I check in my challenge groups, and I make my PM post between like 7:45 and 9. So that's my day. And on the weekends, I tend to personally sit down at least one day out of the weekend and hammer out like 2 or 3 hours of stuff and then throw my posts in between because that works for me and it gets me caught up before the week starts again. But if you don't have that, you just break it up. And the bottom line is that if you make this a priority and you know what you have to do to get it done, 3 vital behaviors, there's no reason you can't fit it in if you want it bad enough. But again, you have to be adaptable and you have to say to yourself, if it's 10 o'clock at night and you're freaking exhausted and your eyes are drooping and your husband's like, what are you doing? You said you were going to be done a half an hour ago, and you're still sending messages, you just have to say to yourself, even though every time I send a message, a new one comes in, that's it. Shut it off. I'm done. I need a break. I need to go to bed. So those are like the main, like that's the meat of what I do. But another thing that I had a huge struggle with that has helped me a lot was learning to delegate. And it took me a really long time, like over a year, to realize how important it was and to let go of the control, because I'm a control freak and I like to be in charge of everything. To ask my husband, it's I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but I'm a huge control freak. So it took me a really long time, and to show you how much of a control freak I am, when I finally delegated my thank you cards, I delegated them to my sister because I knew I could trust her and I knew that I could watch over her and she wouldn't be like,
Danielle, can you hear me?
followers, follow people, and reach out to people on Instagram. And what he does is he says things that I've told him to say. I have given him comments. I have given him hashtags. I've given him all the information because I want it to be me. And again, this is another, like, one of my control freak things. But I did not want it to sound like a robot or a hired person was talking to these people. So before I even agreed to delegate this out, I made sure that the guy that does it for me was on board to use exactly the comments and hashtags that I was providing him, not the generic ones that he uses for everybody else that pays him. So again, be adaptable, but delegate because it's a huge help. Okay, so April wanted me to talk also about like my organization system. Everybody is different and you have to do what works for you. And if you're a technology person and you want it all to be electronic, great. If you're a paper person like me, then that's fine too. I'm going to tell you how I do it because I get scrambled up when things are like more things are popping up on my phone that need to be, and if I'm busy and I ignore it and then forget about it later, like that's not, my brain doesn't work like that. I need it on paper in front of me so that I know exactly where it's at. When I need to come to it, it's there and it's not going to get lost. My husband always says, well, what happens if you forget your notebook somewhere? I'm like, I'm not going to forget my notebook, and if I do, I'll know where I left it. I won't be able to fix it if my computer crashes or my phone dies. So this works for me. So I have a planner, and in my planner, I use like a highlighting system. So every day I have my 3 to 5 new names written down, as well as people I need to follow up with. And then I highlight my follow-ups green, and that tells me that I've already talked to them and they've shown some sort of interest. I think that they might be a potential client. So then I also have, when I check my online office every day and I write down my new leads and my purchases in my planner, I highlight them a different color. So sales get highlighted pink, as do Success Club leads because they're paid leads, and customer leads get highlighted green because they are potential people that I could eventually maybe sell Shakeology or something like that to. My calls get highlighted blue. Even though I have an Acuity scheduler and they're on my computer and I get emails and stuff, I still put them in my planner. My coaches, if I sign a new coach, they get highlighted orange, so they stand out to me. So a typical week for me looks like a rainbow, and I'm trying to see if I can show you something. Like, so I look at that and I can tell you that, like, this was the day I posted about a free group and I had a crap ton of people to talk to. I had 2 calls this day. I sold a challenge pack and signed a coach because there's orange there too. I have my Shakeology cancellation emails that I need to send reminders here every week. So every weekend I know to send those out. So I can literally just look at a week and at a glance, and it's all right there in front of me. So there's never any question for me. Also, you want to have a posting schedule of some sort. And for new coaches, I highly recommend writing it down. I'm sure, like, for April and stuff, like it is for me, it's kind of in my head. Like, I just know I've posted about this. Already this week I need to post about this. I like Mondays or Tuesday nights for challenge groups. I like Sundays for coach posts, and I have those topics in my head already. But what I suggest to new coaches is write down your 5 to 10 biggest passions in life, whether it be your family, your pets, your traveling, I don't care, your job, I don't care what it is. Write down your biggest passions, and those are the topics you're going to post about, that you're going to mix in with the health and fitness stuff, the challenge group posts, the coach posts. You're going to mix in amongst those so that people don't think you're a Beachbody coach robot and all you do is post about coaching. I also keep one of those like journal books with like the line pages, and that book is all challenge group. So when I start a challenge group or when I sell a challenge pack, I write down the name of the person that bought under the name of the group that they're in. Because if for some reason I get locked out of Facebook, like some of these bigger coaches do, I have those lists in front of me. I don't have to look for them. I used to carry this big honkin' binder around, and I realized that I really wasn't using it as much as I thought I was. So I bought this little bitty guy, and it saved my life. This goes with me everywhere. I take it on vacation. I take it on road trips if I know we're going to be gone for like a half a day. I take it to events. I take it everywhere with me. Because if I'm out somewhere and something comes up and I don't want to forget about it, I'll jot it down in there. Or if I have like a bunch of things I need to do and we're going on a 2-hour car ride, I put my to-do list in there and it's all right in front of me. I can jot down ideas. If I come up with them while I'm out, everything's right there. If I'm at a training, I can take all my notes in there, come back and report them to my team, and they're never lost. That'll be on my hip at Summit every day. It won't leave my side, and then it won't leave my desk when I get back. And then obviously a to-do list, which is something that everyone should have, that they should make either first thing in the morning or at the very end of the day. I joke that I have lists for my lists, and I do. There's 2 of them right there. But they keep me sane, they keep me organized, and I know what the heck is going on in my life. So whatever works for you is what you need to be doing, and you have to play around with it, and eventually you'll figure it out. But the worst thing you can do is let yourself not get unorganized, because anytime I take a day or 2 from sitting at my desk, I come back and I'm a frazzled mess, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't put this person on the thank you note list, and I forgot to put them, I saved them on my phone, but then I forgot to write them on my calendar, and I get so confused because I don't remember who I sent a welcome email to and who I didn't, and who I have a call with, and on all those things. So keep yourself organized from day 1. It is it's huge, because if not, you're going to get frustrated and then you're going to want to quit. So let's see. You just have to know that you're not gonna get it right away, and you have to change it until it works, and that's okay. But don't get discouraged, because it's gonna work itself out eventually. It might take a little while, but it will work itself out. And you have to just make it non-negotiable to never, ever, ever give up, because this is your dream. You started this for a reason, and you see what the potential brings. Am I talking too much? Okay, we're good. Okay, so the last thing I want to touch on is what April said about if you don't have an active upline, what the heck? How are you going to ever build this business? It's never going to work for me because, I have no volume coming underneath me. No one's adding coaches to my weak leg, blah, blah, blah. It's a bunch of crap. Yes, for the first couple months, it was really, really, really hard to sit there all by myself and be like, oh, I'm Emerald, and I don't even know how to teach these coaches yet, and I have no one helping me to get volume. It stinks. It does. But you get over it, because you realize that if you are dedicated enough, and if you're signing like-minded people up to be coaches, people that want this as bad as you do and want to work, eventually it's going to work itself out. Today I had my biggest cycle bonus yet between my husband's team and my team. It's not, it's not Kelly's 100 and whatever cycles. It's not April's 40 some cycles. But I cycled 16 times between all of our coaches, and that's incredible. That's a huge deal. I don't think I've cycled more than 9 or 10, maybe 10 or 12 times ever before today, and that's only happened once or twice. So that's a huge, huge, huge deal. And I was able to get my husband a diamond last week. So those cycles that he got, that he normally would have gotten paid $14 for, we made $4 more per cycle for those. So think about how much that raised my income this week too. And I can tell you that 90% of my income this week alone was from cycle bonuses from a team that I built and my coaches built. And I got paid as much this week as I actually went through before I got on the call to check. I got paid as much this week with only making about $50 in commissions as I have every week for the past, I've averaged about the same for the past 2 months straight. And this week was 90% commissions. So you can't tell me that you can't build this business without an upline, because what you need to do is watch the people that are doing it right. I stalked the crap out of April and Kelly for the first probably 2 months that I was a coach. I watched them like a hawk. I watched everything that they did, and what I wrote down to tell you guys is watch, learn, and duplicate. So if your coach is telling you, look, and I tell my coaches this all the time, look at my posts, and if you like what you see, use it, then use it. Copy it, change a few words, make it sound like you and not them, and do it and paste and post it. There's tons of times where I'm crunched for time. I can't think of what to say. I'm so tired. And I'll go and I'll look at how April and Melissa and Shannon and some of the other coaches on our team, I'll go and look and see how they posted, because I know we're all posting about similar challenges. I'll go and look and see how they posted about the 21-day fix challenge that we have starting next week or whatever. And I'll be like, oh, okay, I really like that thing that she said in there about blah, 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 whatever. And I'll incorporate that in my post. So watch, learn, and duplicate. There's no need to reinvent the wheel. Make goals for yourself that are non-negotiable. Don't allow yourself to give up, because when I told myself I'm going to be Emerald no matter what, I got there. When I told myself I'm going to hit Success Club 10 every month, I've done it. When I told myself I'm going to be when I told myself I was going to be Diamond, I got there. When I told myself I was going to be 2-star qualifying by Summit, I didn't get there. But I got 1-star, and that's huge. Like, that's a big deal. So, you know, and when your goals don't work out, you adjust them and you start over. Like, I just went through my goal list earlier, and I was like, I noticed that I wrote them in April when I went to Cancun, and I changed my date for my 2-star goal. It's now August 26th on my board. You know, I've had some coaches fall off. I've had some coaches start kicking butt this month, like Shannon is awesome. And I've changed my thought process about who's going to be in my next couple people to become Diamond. And you start refocusing your goals, and you figure out where they need to be. And what else? Okay, so you don't have an upline? So go listen to the people that have been doing this for 5 to 7 years at Summit and Super Saturdays and live trainings and any live event you can get to. Freaking do it, because it will change your life. And most importantly, be confident in yourself, because if you don't have confidence in yourself, then people are going to see that and read that, and they're going to be like, well, she doesn't trust herself, or I feel like she doesn't even believe what she's talking about, so why should I believe her? So you have to be confident in you, and you have to just say, you know, I don't really know that answer right now. I'm really sorry. Let me find out and get back to you. And it's okay if you're a brand new together and you're telling that one person is together. Like, we're going to figure this. I've just been honest with my coaches. Like, I'm dragging butt like crazy, and that you're still there, and that you're still helping, you're still working for them. And if they need you, you're always there. And stop blaming it on everybody else, because it's nobody's fault that you don't have an upline. There's no excuses. This business isn't for everybody. This business wasn't for my upline, but she's making a killing off of my team now. But good for her, whatever. You know, it is what it is. It wasn't for her. She didn't have the passion that we have, and that's okay. But thank God she signed me up, right? So all you need to do is remind yourself that it's nobody's fault that you don't have an upline, but thank God you have one, because you wouldn't be here if you didn't. Okay, that's all I have.
Okay, I had to unmute myself. Thank you. That was awesome. And I just love your organizational tips. I took a ton of notes too, because I think it's so funny, because I am so far from type A. It's not even funny. I just literally am like, oh my gosh, that person acted like they ordered like 3 months ago. Where did they go? Like, that's how I was in the beginning with my business. So I remember when I was at Summit, the first time I actually met Danny, and I was like, what is this highlighting system you're doing? Tell me about this. And I started doing it, and it made such a big difference. And I was actually just going through my planner that I had from last year, and I'm going through, because I don't use this planner anymore, and I'm going through and I'm writing down anybody that I had ever talked to that didn't actually pull the trigger. So I'm going back through and writing all of them down. But I'm just looking, like January is the last time I used this planner, and now I just kind of use my business activity tracker. And as Danny was talking, I was like, I need to get back on track with a planner every day, because just writing down who I talk to is good, but I don't want to have 4 different places where I'm writing, okay, this is who bought this is who I'm talking to, this is who I'm calling. So yeah, really, really great tips. And then I know that I did this when I was working too, but I just love how she writes down everybody the night before that she's going to reach out to. It's like a no-brainer. Why would you not already message them? You did the hard part of figuring out who you should be talking to, kind of thing. So great stuff. I loved that. Okay, so anybody have any questions either about organization or time management or anything at all for Danny? Not really.
You know what's funny is that whenever, just like to show you that the planner thing really does work, when the Pio went on sale like a couple months ago, I was like, oh my gosh, I never posted about Pio. I don't know what the heck am I going to do to try to like knock this $140 sale out of the this month. I went back to my planner from last year, and I went to the month because I knew it came out while we were at Summit, and I looked at the names of all the people that I talked to about Pio before that didn't pull the trigger, and I messaged them again. Mm-hmm. And they became my 3 to 5 people. And so when I look at my planner, like, I know people are like, oh, that sounds like so much work, and like, oh, I can keep it straight. Trust me, you can't. Not after a year and a half. And I can go back and I can flip through my pages and be like, okay. And like even now, like the 21-day fix sale was extended through July. So I can go through everybody that I talked to in April and May when the 21-day fix was coming on sale and when it was on sale that didn't pull the trigger or didn't have the money I'm sorry, not April, May and June, didn't have the money in June. And I can message them and be like, oh my God, girl, great news. The sale was extended. So you have 30 more days to pull it together, like pull the funds together if you still want to do this, because I know last month was a little tight, but this month, like maybe you can make it, maybe you can swing it now. And all I have to do is flip through and look at the names of the people that are green, because 90% of the people I talk to are 21-day fix, potentials anyway. So it's just such easy access,
Right. I love that.
So I guess I have a quick.
Oh, go ahead. Go.
Oh, sorry. Clients, and I just signed on my first coach. But as like your list of clients grows, like how do you keep track of it all? Like how do you check in with all of them? Like do you kind of at some point go, okay, spread your wings and fly and check in with me when you feel like it, or are you still consistently checking in with? I mean, God knows how many clients both of you have.
So I'll let April take this too, because this is actually something that I struggle with, because I sometimes feel really guilty that like I don't have one-on-one conversations with a lot of my challenge pack customers. But what I do is when I put them in the challenge group, like, okay, so maybe I added like 5 people this week and like 2 people last week or whatever. I might, for like a week or 2, I might make a post and be like, okay, how are my newbies doing? And tag them. And if they're not replying and they're not asking for help or interacting in the group, then it is kind of like spread your wings and fly. Like I might check in on them if they were like someone that was like, I really don't think I can do this, and then they end up buying anyway. Like I might check in on them one-on-one. They might be just a little bit too shy, but I really try to focus my attention on the people that want the help, that are asking for it back, that are answering questions and participating in like the mini challenges we do, and that are posting on their own and things like that, because you can't keep track of them all. And there are going to be people that are going to be so gung-ho to buy this challenge pack, and then they're going to buy it and they're going to let it sit on the shelf and they're never going to open it. And no matter how many times you check in with them, they're never going to do it. And you can't change that. And that's the one thing that's hard, I think, was hard to let go of at first, like feeling guilty about like not making all of my challengers successful, but you can't do it for them either. So, you know, you're putting them in the challenge group, you're giving them a group to interact in, you're giving them all the tools that they need and the files and the multiple coaches in there posting and other challengers interacting. You're checking in on them once a week, you know, or whatever. And if they're not working back with you, then you kind of just have to move on. That's how I kind of do things. I don't know, April, would you agree with that?
Yeah, I really focus on the coaches that are like doing our current, 21 Day Fix boot camp. I talk to them a lot. I always tend to have one or two that need a little bit extra help and they're messaging me, and we just kind of have like an ongoing message. And I actually really enjoy that because those are the people that I'm building a relationship, and 9 times out of 10 turn into coaches anyways. So if you have somebody that wants the extra effort, I mean, I have them just message me whenever, because that's just a great way to make somebody that's going to make a great coach, somebody that needs that extra help and support. But I kind of do the same thing. It's like, it's up to you to reach out to me. And then probably once a month what I do is I go through and I look over everybody I've talked to in the past. And then I go through and look at all my or my challenge pack orders from the last month. And then I go back through and follow up with those people. And then I'll go back through the month before and follow up. And I usually just do that kind of like at a bulk thing. And sometimes you can even, if I add everybody to the meal prep group, so I could even tag them all and be like, oh my gosh, I haven't heard from you in a while. You know, how's it going? So for me, I don't want to send out, I mean, for the last couple of months, that would be probably 50 messages, and I don't have time to do that. But so I would probably just pick like, 10 one week I'll tag, 10 one week I'll tag, kind of thing like that.
Yep.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And as for like people, keeping track of people that don't actually pull the trigger, that's why I like the system that I use. But also something you can do is like give yourself like, 1 day or 2 days a month where you just scroll all the way like down a whole bunch of pages on your messenger like list and just see like names will start like, you'll be like, oh my gosh, how did I forget to message this person back? Or, oh my gosh, how did I like lose contact with this person? Our conversation was going so well, and then she never answered and I totally forgot about her. So you can kind of just like scroll through there and see if there's names that pop up. And I'll make those people my 3 to 5 people sometimes, because your 3 to 5 people don't always have to be brand new people. They can be people that you haven't talked to in 6 months that you're restarting to build a relationship with or something. Or someone that maybe was like, I'm pregnant, but when I'm done, I'm going to want your help. And you know that like, oh, I just saw a picture of that girl's baby the other day. I totally forgot that she wanted help when she was like, after this kid popped out. So you can then start building your relationship again,
Mm-hmm. I think the only thing that I do a little differently that works for me that I might throw out there is that so I have this like separate binder my cat's sleeping on book, and so it's just like a book like this, and then I have all of my so like if I have a 7-day clean eating, I write down everybody like Danielle does, but then another thing that I started doing is, so I write like, it says February coach prospects, and every single person I talk to at all about coaching is there. And then on the same page, February 21 Day Fix prospects, and every single person I talk to is there. So for me, it's so easy to have it all right there on one piece of paper for me instead of scrolling back through. So there's whatever works for you, you can do, but that's just something that works best for me. So I just wanted to throw that out there. And for some reason, I didn't do it in the month of June. So I don't know. June was not a good month. I'm back on it. So anything else? Anything, questions at all, or anything you're struggling with? Let me see this chat. There's some messages in the chat. Oh, no, I can't see. That's old. Yeah, a couple times, Danny, it like went out and I couldn't hear you. But then I don't think we too much.
Sorry.
No, I don't know what was going on. So Okay, no, anything else? Shelby or this mystery 352 number? Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much, Danny. And guys, thank you so much for jumping on. I know you guys are busy and have a lot of stuff going on. But I'm going to post this whenever it's loaded and tag anybody from your team or, success buddies that you think might benefit from this. And Danny is just kind of my go-to when I need something organizational or what. And I will tell you right now, if that is not my strong suit, I literally at Summit, I remember we had a diamond breakfast on Sunday and I went to it. I was Kelly and Kevin was there and I didn't know anybody else there. And I stood up and it was like an open forum, like anybody could ask questions or whatever. And I was just telling them how I was so overwhelmed with being so unorganized. And I at Summit, I was like, I can picture in my head 5 people that bought products that I have no idea what they're doing right now. And it just like kind of broke my heart. I'm like, I am not here to just sell products and not be a coach to people. And I just like broke down in front of all these people that I didn't even know who they were. They were on our team somehow, but I'm just like, and I'm so stressed out. And so I made it a point that when I got home, I was going to make a system and I was going to stick to it. And, it's kind of very close to what Danny does without like it being ADD or not ADD, but type A on track. That's me. And it works for me. So, it doesn't have to be exactly what she does. It doesn't have to be exactly what I do. Just make sure it works and be consistent and stick with it. And if you need to make changes, make changes. But right now, before it gets so overwhelming, figure something that works for you is my best advice. So, all right, we'll sign off. Thanks again so much, Danny. And thanks, everyone. Shannon, I love seeing your little one.
I know, he's so cute.
I know. Bye, guys.
He's got an avocado.